All right, everybody. Good early evening or late afternoon. We've got some more edge rushers to look at. And this video, we're going to have a couple guys who I suspect, will go in the first round. Personally, I kind of hope they don't because I don't see the value at 20. I can see it maybe at 37, but I just don't see the first round value for very different reasons, but I'm just not quite there at least at number 20. Maybe if you trade back to like 29 or 30, okay. That's a little bit different, but I don't see it at 20. If they get there at 37, I might be willing to say, yeah, let's do it. Let's make this happen, but I kind of have a feeling they're not going to be there. But one can hope. One can anticipate that there could be a little bit of a drop, especially with these two guys. I think it's at least on the table with both of them. So, let's start with this guy right here. And admittedly, I'm not 100% sure about this one, even as an early second rounder, just because I don't know if I see the fit. Although, admittedly, I'm not in love with the player either. Lucas Van Ness, Iowa Hawkeye, 22 years old, 6'5", 272 pounds. And we already kind of see a little bit of the problem here, maybe. 34-inch arms, though. Nice long arms. Big hands, 11-inch hands. 4.58 40, 1.64 10-yard split, so he's a little slow and not really explosive. 31-inch vert, 9-foot 10-inch broad, not great. His combine performance in general was not what you're looking for from an edge rusher, especially in a 3-4. You're looking for a guy who's a little bit smaller, faster, and can do things like handle coverage drops and move in space a bit better. And even though strength is supposedly his calling card, and I still think that it is, he only had 17 bench press reps. So that's we're not getting off to a great start here with Mr. Van Ness. He's been reasonably productive the last 2 years. 2022, he had 10.5 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 37 tackles. The year before, he had 7 sacks in 13 games, 33 tackles, 8.5 for loss. Like, respectable for sure. But not huge production, and a big reason why is because he didn't play that much. In fact, he did not start a single game his entire career at Iowa. 0 starts. He always came off the bench. So Lucas Van Ness, I just see a lot of warning signs here, a lot of things that kind of put me off of him. I'm not really feeling this one. That being said, there are positives here. And one thing I will say about him is that there may be, in a 3-4 defense, a positional change in his arsenal that could end up allowing him to provide a good amount of value to the Seahawks, even with this current defense. He's got experience playing inside and outside. I think initially at Iowa he was playing inside, and then he moved outside to edge rusher last year. Gives high effort. Like, there's no doubting his drive and his push and his will to succeed. He's very strong pushing through blockers. He can manhandle blockers. Blow right through them. Got a nice bull rush. He's got decent burst and flexibility for a guy of his size, I suppose, but I don't think it's great. I don't think it's anything special, which is why I really don't understand why this guy's supposed to be a first rounder when I'm just not seeing the bend. I'm not seeing the extremely good burst. I'm not seeing those pass rushing traits. Again, he never started a game at the college level. His pass rush moves are kind of limited. Doesn't really have a whole lot going on for him there. Overall, he's kind of raw. He's going to need some work. I think he struggles a little bit with the mental part of the game. He struggles with processing plays mentally. So there's, I don't know. To me, right now, I look at Lucas Van Ness and I see Michael Bennett, a guy who plays 5 tech and then slides inside on passing downs. That's not going to work in a 3-4 defense. If we got him, and I don't really think we're going to, but if we got Lucas Van Ness, I would expect him to be maybe he would bulk up a little bit and play 3-4 end. Maybe he'd add like 10, 15 pounds and become a 3-4 defensive end full time. And I don't know if you want to spend even an early second round pick on a guy who you're just hoping can make that transition. Because I got to tell you, I don't see it super clearly with him. It could happen. I'm not opposed to it. I think he has a good chance of pulling it off. but I don't see that transition being clean and guaranteed the way I do with a few other guys in this draft, one of whom we'll be getting to in the very near future here. So to me, he's just not really a fit. Now, I will say, if he does get to the second round, the value is really good. Like, every big board right now still has him in the top 28. The aggregate has him 16. If he's there at 37, the value is kind of off the charts. And maybe you just have to take the plunge knowing that, hey, you might change your defense in a year. You might go back to the 4-3. And he might be able to handle the position change. Maybe he drops a little bit of weight and becomes at least a really good run defender as an edge rusher. I don't know exactly how it works out, but it has a chance to work out. So, okay. If he's there at 37, I'm going to be okay with it just because he is. There are some areas where he's very good, but I don't see the fit right now. I think he's going to have to pack on some extra weight, move inside full time. So that's the reason why I wouldn't take Van Ness in the first. He probably will go in the first, honestly, by the way. Here's another guy. Probably going to go in the first. I hope he goes in the second. I hope he goes to 37 so we can get him there, because I don't see the value at 20. Again, maybe at 29, 30, 31, where it's a little bit different. But Will McDonald, the fourth of Iowa State, staying in the state of Iowa here. 24 years old, and right then and there is kind of like, that's a big part of the reason why I'm not crazy about taking him in the first. A 24-year-old prospect, there's a little bit of a ceiling there that you don't encounter with guys who are 21 and 22. But other than that, there's a lot to like here, admittedly. This is not the same as Van Ness. With Van Ness, I don't see the fit. With Will McDonald, I do see the fit. I just don't feel like the value is there, basically. 6'4", 239 pounds, a little bit lean, but long arms, almost 35-inch arms, really long. 9.5-inch hands. He jumped really good at the combine, which is part of the reason why he's probably going to be a first-round pick, I think. 36-inch vert, 11-foot broad, very explosive. Last 2 years, he's accrued 16.5 sacks. Most of them came in 2021. 2022, he did drop off significantly in production, but a lot of that was because Iowa State was moving him around a lot in their defense. And I'll talk about that in a second here. But there are very good reasons why his production dropped off in 2022. He was he was pretty much being used in just the edge rusher role in 2021. And then 2022, they tried to have him play inside a little bit. They moved him here. They moved him there. They tried to explore the space with him. And I think that's why his stats dropped off. I don't think it says anything bad about him as a player. He also forced 5 fumbles in 2021, and forcing fumbles is a skill. Not just anybody can do it. It's not just random luck. There is definitely an element of understanding when to reach, when to go for the ball, being able to go for the ball without giving up the sack, all that kind of stuff. So, Will McDonald IV, ton of college experience. He played a ton of games in college. He should be ready to hit the ground running in the NFL because of that. Those very long arms, like I said, they give him a big advantage when he engages with offensive linemen. He did explore some versatility with his role on the defense. I don't think it's going to translate great, but maybe a little bit of it will. Like at 239, I don't know if I see him sliding inside on some downs. I don't know if I see that, but the versatility isn't a bad thing. He's got a quick first step. He's got great speed off the edge. He's going to be a great speed rusher pretty much from day one. He moves great in space, not just not just somebody who runs in a straight line all the time. He's excellent with his hands, good at setting the edge against the run, which is big because he is a little bit undersized. So when I see that, that makes me feel like, okay, he'll be able to hold up at least somewhat against the run. Obviously, he's not a game wrecker against the run, but I think he'll be able to hold the edge. And he's a high-effort player, so a lot of great stuff about Will McDonald. He is going to have to develop more pass rush moves. Right now, he wins with speed a lot. Right now, he wins with his first step. Gets to the quarterback quickly, just kind of loops around. He's going to have to develop more pass rush moves. Sometimes his attempts to move laterally are a little awkward and a little too easy to handle for defenders. And he could stand to add a little bit of strength. He doesn't have a lot of strength, but his frame should allow to add some muscle mass. He's 6'4", not even 240. Should be able to add a little bit of muscle mass there. So Will McDonald IV is a guy who, for most of the draft process, was like a second rounder. Maybe even later. And now he's starting to bump up towards the first because he had a good combine, and I think people are looking at him in a different light. they're being a little more understanding of what he did in 2022 because his role was being so altered in positions that did not put him necessarily in the best place to have success. I think he's ready to go day one. He won't be a complete player. He is going to have to learn how to do more pass rush stuff, but he should provide some pass rush, and he'll be okay against the run. I think he'll be a great fit for a 3-4 defense. But the combination of little things that have me concerned, the age, the lack of refinement in his pass rush, the lack of strength that is going to make him not a great run defender, all these things, I'm not really going to do it in the first. Maybe I would do it at the very back of the first, but realistically, I'm going to wait for 37, see if he's there, and if he is there, okay, I'm all over that. 37, I'm in for it. But 24 years old, I don't need to take another one of these guys in the first round. You get to that first round, I just want somebody with a little more upside, somebody who can grow into his role a little bit more. But this is a tough one, guys. There's a lot to love here. These arms, crazy long. He's got crazy explosiveness as told by the combine numbers. A lot of stuff to really, really be into. And honestly, again, I think he will go in the first. But I'm hoping he doesn't. All right, so that's all the edge players that I think are going to go in the first round. It was 6 of them. Could be some that creep in, and we'll talk about those tomorrow. But today is all about these 6 guys. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like them? Do you guys feel the same as I do? Kind of split them into 3 groups. The guys that I would take at 5, guys that I would take at 20, guys who I would wait until the early second on. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks. And more edge rushers coming in the coming days.